I think the biggest story of yesterday was Dwight McGlothern, the LSU defensive back who put his name into the portal. I mean, if for nothing else, you would think if you're a player, especially at LSU right now, that you've got the biggest commodity in your advantage. You've got playing time.
Yeah.
There's nobody there. I mean,
I'm confused.
There's no DBs.
Unless they told him to leave, but I don't think they would have done that. Yeah, he played great when he was there. Yeah.
Yeah, you would tell him. I mean, I may not know the whole story, but I mean, from what I've been told, this is like his decision, and I'm not here to. I don't know the parameters, and I don't know the X's and O's of it. So I mean, I'm not going to dive into why it's happening for Dwight McLaughlin. I'm just looking at players in the defensive backfield that you wouldn't look at LSU and say, I want to be there because I can play. Right. I mean, that's the biggest negotiating factor that you have in any sport is playing time, and LSU has legitimate playing time in the defensive backfield specifically, and to see McLaughlin put his name into the portal after Flott puts his name into the draft. We've seen Eli Ricks transfer out. We've seen other guys make the move. We saw Derek Stingley make it official. I don't think that was surprising to anybody. I mean, I think that was kind of like accepted. But
what year is McLaughlin?
He's a sophomore.
Yeah, he's a sophomore. He's a true
Okay.
sophomore. So he's a second-year guy. He's got one more year until he can make a decision on whether or not he's going to come back. Lloyd, can you turn those hall lights on, please? That's my fault. I should have done that. But McLaughlin is, I mean, like I figured he was going to be the leader of the defense of the defense.
Especially how vocal he was throughout the course of the year.
Yeah.
When Eli Ricks left, he came out and he was the one tweeting about it. He's like, "We'll do it. We have, the guys here are going to do it. We're going to do it ourselves, blah, 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 blah." And now he's gone. Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of confused. I don't know what's going on. There's something. We don't know the whole story. There's something that, there's something. And I'm not even saying that it has something to do with necessarily what happened behind the scenes at LSU, because something may be happening in his life. I don't know.
Right, sure.
It's so weird because he was very vocal about staying and guys leaving, and now he's leaving. It's kind of weird.
Yeah,
it is. And one thing I did think of, and this is something that we've talked about very much during this process, is that, man, this is a total cleansing and overhaul of LSU football.
Yep.
And there may be some conversations going on behind the scenes. And again, this is nothing directed independently towards Dwight McLaughlin. I'm talking about all in all what it feels like could be happening just from an outside looking in of conversations that are having behind the scenes, that you realize this may not be the best place for you, or at this specific time during the coaching change that this isn't the best fit. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I think some of those hard conversations that have to happen in everyday life and business and what's going on with LSU football is, a lot of that is a lot of people just kind of getting real with one another and saying, hey, look, this is how it's going to be. You may not fit in right now. And
that's what we wanted when with the new staff. That was the hope, that someone would come in and change the entire culture and change, the regime would say, you know what, this is not going to be, there's going to be no resemblance of what used to be. Mm-hmm. We have to go in there and cleanse it, and that's what they're doing. And I think you're right. I think that they're going to go there and say, hey, this is our philosophy, this is what we do. It's a no-nonsense policy, and some guys just don't feel like they like that, and they can go. That's okay.
Yeah, that's
fine. Like I'm not mad at him for leaving if he doesn't feel like he fits in with that type of energy or culture. That's okay.
Did y'all know 7 Alabama players went into the portal?
Yeah. I mean, I think
they have too many.
Yeah, they got too many.
Yeah.
And I think that's really kind of what's happening to Eli Ricks, is that he probably got over there, and he probably looked around and was like, I may not play here next year, where I left a situation where I was going to be the feature.
You're going to be the first rounder.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're going to be the top. You're going to be the face of the defensive backfield.
Yep.
What a terrible feeling that must be.
It's got to be.
Leave.
It's got to be very, very just. Yeah, I mean, like
it's a shot to the ego.
Yeah.
Of saying, hey, I am the guy, or I was the guy, and I think I'm the guy. And now I go here, and I'm no longer the guy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Every place I've been the guy.
Yeah, I don't really know how to
and now I'm very much out of place here.
I don't know. And I don't fit into what their my personality is not really fitting into their culture. Like what Saban did on the stage after for the press conference, and how he talked about his guys. those guys
sweet.
earn that respect from him.
Yeah, they
You know what I
did.
mean? He demands that respect, and they earn that respect.
Yeah.
And if you don't, Billingsley,
Yeah.
which was an unbelievable who is an unbelievable talent.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't buy into that, and you don't earn that trust from Saban, and you don't prove to him that you deserve that, you're not going to play. And it doesn't matter how good you are. And that's Billingsley is a product of that. That's what happened. He's leaving. He doesn't. And that's what Eli Ricks is going to do. He's going to go there, and personality-wise, he may not fit into what they're doing. And Saban ain't going to take that.
Yeah.
And now he's realizing, oh man, I can't really talk my way into this thing.
Right.
Can he?
Yeah.
If he hits he can't hit the portal again, can he?
I don't know how
I
that
don't-
works, but I mean, like a Reed
Has he
Gilbert
enrolled?
did.
Has he enrolled?
That's what I'm wondering because he did the
Yeah, how did
essentially
Gilbert do it?
practice with Alabama.
Because Gilbert was, I mean, he was 2 times in the portal where he committed to Florida and went on
yeah,
campus
that's
with them,
right.
and then he left and went out of the portal. And
So you can do
And he
it.
came to
so-
LSU, then he went
Yeah,
back
so
to
how-
Georgia.
But how does that?
I don't-
Because you
I-
only have one time free transfer, right?
So I don't know if he enrolled.
yeah.
You know, I don't know if
Yeah,
it became
maybe.
official. I don't know if he just committed from the portal to a school where it's like a lot like recruiting. And look, there have been some tales of things coming out. We talked about the Trey Palmer situation a couple of weeks back where, I don't know if it was Palmer's decision to leave LSU. I really don't. I mean, I think,
Right.
the stories that we heard was Palmer showed up to a workout late and the rules had changed. Right.
Yeah.
And when he got
The
upstairs
sheriff in town.
and explained why he was late, that just didn't fly. And when it didn't fly, I mean, he was told to kind of pack his bags. And it feels like with this Dwight McLaughlin situation that could be a similar
Oh, you think
thing.
so?
I mean, for as much as McLaughlin was out talking about staying, for as
Right.
much as he was talking about, the opportunities that he was going to have, and then to look up and see him in the portal, I think the puzzle pieces kind of put themselves together.
Yeah.
Right?
Because he was as big an advocate for LSU as almost anybody on whenever the attrition started to happen, he was one of the few that was pretty outspoken about wanting LSU to get back to where, he thought LSU should be.
Right.
He was an LSU guy, it felt like. So probably some of the changes that have happened in the defensive back room could cause you to kind of look around. I'm sure no longer Corey Raymond. Do you see Eli Ricks up? Because that was the LSU sauce for so long, right? What it'd be, you always had one guy and then the next guy in line to where you could kind of keep DBU in check and kind of always have somebody that was going to be pro ready every year. And now it doesn't seem like that. Those pieces have kind of fallen apart, but they're bringing in other guys that seem to be some studs.
I like Terrence Walsh has been very vocal about. I like that.
Me too.
Not bad vocal, like confident. Like, hey, I'm going to come in here. I'm going to take
my
that
time.
spot.
Yeah.
Like this is an opportunity for me. Like, there's been freshmen that have started at LSU and been very, very successful and been ready. So he's coming in here ready to go, and I love that. Like even if he's not 100% ready for the first game of like being the everyday guy, every down guy, he's going to be ready at some point. Like that mentality goes a long way.
I will tell you that the feeling around the LSU football facility feels very much like a reset in the people that we have talked to and the people that have really lost their job over the last 48 hours, over the last 72 hours, since really things have been up, moving, and being put in place, is that there is a clear overhaul and reset that is happening inside that program, really for the first time since 1999, since 2000. I mean, when Saban got here in 2000 and 1999, I mean, there was a cleansing of, kind of the good old boy network of South Louisiana and LSU. And look, there were some people that made it through, but for the most part, I mean, it was a lot of new faces. It was a lot of people that were kind of outside of the market that were coming in and working at LSU for the first time, that was really changing policy, procedure, and just the everyday, day-to-day functionality of the program and the athletic department, really. I mean, it was an overhaul, really, of kind of what they were doing and how they were operating. And since then, you've never really broke away from, you've always had some type of puzzle piece from each era or, kind of each coach or administrator that has been piled up along the way. And I think right now, I mean, it's a complete dynamite boom. I mean, it's a blow the whole thing up.
is.
And if you can't get on board with how they're going to run the organization. It doesn't matter if you're the starting wide receiver or if you're the starting cornerback.
Right.
You can't play here.